You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, but with me, the actual host, the owner, CEO, proprietor, head artist, lead design, head therapist, travel czar, cat wrangler, head custodian, payroll maven, Elise Bacon. How are you?
I refuse to be part of any of this until I get my pizza.
You gotta get a pay cut first. You ain't get no pay.
I ain't getting no pay, so give me pizza or I'm walking.
You gotta get paid. I gotta get a pay cut. So now we gotta bring down whatever you get from the Patreon. And then when you get mad, we then have to have a pizza party. So the only way
I'm
you're
mad
getting
at all of these extra unpaid responsibilities that you keep
are being
putting on
heavily
me.
you are being
This is
heavily
officially community.
aggressively
I'm done.
compensated.
We can't this is what's wrong with the labor market
You
these
are
days.
compensated heavily for all of the services, the unique, expertly executed services you provide. Unreasonable.
I'm
Friday.
walking.
You calling it? You're out of here?
I'm gone.
What if we had a pizza?
What kind of pizza?
Oh God, I guess it's like it's I feel like it's too soon, but it'll always be too soon because we're in the hellscape. So like whatever. We're letting it ride. We have Najela here.
Hey. Najela.
Hi Najela. Hi.
I'm not dead. I know that might be news to some of you people.
You're out here being successful. You talk your shit. You're doing good. Hellscape good. Now listen, there's like mid 2000s rap video good, and then there's capitalist hellscape good. So you've been doing capitalist hellscape good to scale for clarity. That's good, and we're proud of you. We love you. You can talk about it. Talk your shit.
I mean, is there a way that I could trade that for the other type of good? Because I really would like to sip Cristal on a yacht.
So you write something, you sell
Not
it.
Cristal. I'm sorry.
So you gotta write something, then you gotta sell it, and then on the back end you gotta start talking shit about a group of marginalized people. So then the you'll have sold the book and the book deal, and then drummed up kind of a permanent paying audience of generally wealthy bigots to supplement your income.
Oh,
So there's a path.
I'm writing something
Yes.
that, like, within the first 8 paragraphs, somebody says nigga. So I don't know if
That doesn't matter. None of the bigots are gonna read the book. So sell the book rights and turn around, be bigoted. The bigots won't read the book. They will defend you as you're being attacked on the internet. So you'll be getting paid for the book and supported by the bigots on the internet who didn't read the book, so it doesn't matter what you put in it.
I'm told it also helps if you start dating somebody who's garbage.
Yes.
I don't think I could do that. Doja
It doesn't
Cat
have to be a real
/ noodle
relationship.
lady.
You just need
No.
you just need to have like the image.
Yeah, go outside, have some coffee twice a week, then go home. You're good. Just let page 6 see you, TMZ, let those people get around the round table, start talking about you, and you're good.
I think I am too melanated and too fat and too old for page 6 to care about me.
Well, you gotta sell the book. That's what I mean. You gotta sell the book, then you hop onto the scene, and then you become bigoted, and then you start getting that consistent Candace Owens layer of like bigoted Negro money that she kind of just exists in currently. She kind of lives on that bed of money, floats on it.
Well, I mean, my current work in progress, I think it's a very like niche interest. But it is about how I kind of fucking hate everybody who is in the emo scene of the aughts. Do they count as a marginalized
they
group
probably
that I could hate?
So
They think they're a marginalized group, so that works.
right.
I mean, they do.
I mean, yeah, you can do that as long as you hate. I mean, the bigots they'll take the baton. Just establish that you're looking for bigotry, and they will guide you the rest of the way.
I like have protests outside of emo nights.
Right. Well, listen, we love to be like, well, the bigots love to be mad at things that don't matter. It gives them purpose. So you could probably find a different thing for them to be mad
I think we should pump the brakes on that definition because I love being mad at things that don't matter. I spent a half an hour being very mad that Patrick Stump continues to say that he does soul music. So like I can contend that does not matter.
I would argue that
anger
that matters. I would argue that that is very important.
My anger is white hot for that non-entity of a subject.
Okay. So
who was that?
Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. I actually saw Fall Out Boy for their first part of the tour, and like in the middle of it, they just did Lean on Me, and I was not fucking prepared.
They did Lean on You in concert? Lean on Me in concert?
They did Lean on Me in concert. I was 2 edibles in, instantly sober. And somehow I scanned the crowd and found the only other Black person that I could make eye contact with, and we were both like, "This is fucking weird, right?" I was like, yeah,
"Lean on me," like when you're not strong. I'll be
Patrick Stump on the piano singing "Lean on Me" like he had experienced decades of oppression. It was the only thing weirder was Pete Wentz's lace front because it was stiff, but it was weird. It was weird.
You know that is my biggest fear of dating a white person is not
that they're going to start singing Lean on Me.
Yes, is that they're an artist and their art viscerally disagrees with my body. Like the racism is common, like all white people are connected to some racist somewhere. Cool, understood. But like if I meet you and we start vibing and you go, "Oh, I play a little bit of piano." And then you go, "Oh, that's really nice. Can you play something for me?" And then they start singing Lean on Me. And then you're just kind of there. And you realize that that's what they do is they sing like soul music covers in like an Austin bar on the weekends. And you're like, fuck. What? That's deeply concerning. Don't want that.
Yeah, I felt like they should have had a trigger warning
on
that.
Right. They should have put that on the program at the top.
I mean, I'm not surprised. They've always been saying that they do genres that they're not doing or do well. Like, when they first started out, they said that they were a hardcore punk band. So
if you listen to their first record, they had legit somewhat heavy songs. They had some songs that were heavier than My Chemical Romance. Like they all started
I have the same beef with My Chemical Romance, so this isn't going to go anywhere.
I mean, my favorite hardcore band right now is Soul Glow. So I like a good genre melding.
There is
I would never
genre melding, and then there is going on stage and being like, "I'm a hardcore punk. I'm punk."
But they were like, if you listen to like Race Trader and the bands that they were in before Fall Out Boy, they were legit like lo-fi hardcore punk bands. Were they good?
No. I have listened to all of their stuff. It was really not good.
It was. There's a reason why they're not known for those bands, and they're known for Fall Out Boy.
They're really now. Listen, Fall Out Boy is not a case of AFI.
No, I would never.
They have never been a case of AFI.
I would say them as an entity together, Fall Out Boy, not a hardcore band. But did the members actually play in other hardcore bands? Yes. Were those bands good? No. But they were hardcore bands.
No.
They
were not good, and they were not good at practicing what they fucking preach.
I mean, no.
Which is a core tenet of punk.
I'm not gonna be on the pro Fall Out Boy side of this argument. I can't.
Right.
But what I'm just saying is that like over time they were just like, oh, we're a hardcore punk band. Oh, we're super metal. I'm like, baby, you're nothing but a pop group. You You are pop. You are
Yeah.
teeny bopper pop.
I would say after their third album, they were barely even guitar rock.
They were barely even guitar rock.
Yeah. But I mean,
There was like one thing when they're like, I used to get into fist fights because people wouldn't say I was punk. I'm like, honey, you probably got through across the bar. You can't fight either.
I mean, we have Fall Out Boy because Pete Wentz kept on showing people pictures of his penis and got MySpace famous. That is the reason why Fall Out Boy popped off.
Thank you.
So
Stay true to your actual roots.
I don't want him to, because I don't want to see his penis. I didn't want to see it back then. Don't want to see it now.
I mean, show the penis to like age appropriate people, not us.
But then he won't be true to his roots.
Ooh.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I really
He's
should let
gross.
it go. I have so much like weird scene emo beef with people. It's one-sided. They don't know it exists. I know this, but nonetheless.
No, this is called being a professional hater, and I will not hear anything wrong about it.
Yeah. It's key.
But even with the stuff I do like my current, I call them my favorite band, even though now it is one dude again. I don't know how, but they found me. Do love their output. Even though their new song, not so much love it, especially because it was described as a deep exploration of sexuality and religious guilt, a la Prince and Color Me Bad. Because if you want to make a song that slaps, you incorporate Prince and Color Me Bad, which he described as 90s R&B.
Baby.
You see what I mean? That's my biggest fear. You understand? Imagine being in an intimate relationship with someone who drops these on you about 4 months in or whatever. That's why you got to know all the information as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for like him to not be searching his name or things like associated with him so I could talk shit about it on Twitter. But like, I really want to talk shit about it.
It's okay. You can talk shit about it on Twitter. The search bar doesn't work.
Yeah, Twitter don't work like that no more.
You literally can't search for things on Twitter because it doesn't work anymore. Like the actual search thing doesn't work.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You're good.
I've given up.
You're free. Yeah, you're free.
You're free. You can go on Blue Sky. Do you need an invite? I've got like 5.
I'm on Blue Sky.
Yeah, go
We
on Blue
follow
Sky.
each other on Blue Sky.
Like how much I pay attention.
It's okay. I really don't be on it that much because I follow nothing but like respectable people, and it really filters out all the the reason people go on Twitter is to scroll by and go, God, I hate these people. It filters all that out. So now I'm like, oh, I just have people talking reasonable, which is good, just like not as entertaining.
We need more hood rat shit.
All right, it's good to know. All right.
No, I also miss the hood rat shit. I need reasonable next to hood rat shit.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, like it doesn't even have to be hood rat shit because I love bandom drama because I fucking hate people that would say I'm in the bandom. Because like, or people who still have like Ryan Ross as their profile picture.
Why?
Like that he left. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Like, get over it. It was 20 years ago. That's probably just somebody's dad now. His sciatica's acting up. He wants to be left alone. And everybody's like posting
he's on
pictures
his
of him.
pad. Leave him be.
They're posting him from 20 years ago going, oh my God, so baby girl coded. Like, I can't. I hate it so much.
I'm so tired of the baby girl shit. I'm just
Yeah.
like, please stop using it wrong.
I'm trying to get back into Tumblr because Twitter is dying. And I usually just use it for Sims stuff. But then that pisses me off. Because I'm very easily agitated, even through my hobbies. But Tumblr, because I've been gone for so long, I'm just like not used to it. and
Mhm.
everybody be like, "Oh my god, she's serving cunt," and the picture will just be of a guy that was in a moderately successful emo band from, like, 2017, and I'm just like, "I don't think you know what that means."
They don't.
Like, y'all just be saying anything.
Yes.
They do though.
They're like, "Oh my god, he's a cinnamon roll," and it's, like, somebody who, like, was pro a genocide that one time, but we forgive him because he made a song that slapped.
We will get off on the nearest exit, which is just asking you about The Sims.
Where do you wanna start?
Actual porn, because Bacon was talking about Baldur's Gate and the fans being very horny for a game that isn't. But
Game's not
Yeah.
horny.
So, I guess, like, because I'm a Sims 4 PC player, I play with the mods, and yes, I play with all kinds of mods, including Wicked Whims, shout out Turbo Driver. Um, I thought that there was, like, full on, like, fucking in Baldur's Gate 3, which is why I thought everybody was going crazy. So I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I need that in my D&D experience," only to find out that, like, it's not, and I'm very shocked by that. Like, I have not played it. I do not have a next gen console. I probably won't get a next gen console, and I don't really feel like having more than one huge game installed on my PC at a time. So, I was very shocked to hear uh, that it's like a buggy mess because I have not heard anybody talking about that. All I've heard people talking about is who they boned.
It's because they haven't gotten far enough in the game.
Uh-huh.
Let me go check my achievement progress. So when I beat the game, I was there's an achievement when you beat the game. I was at 9.7% of players with that achievement.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yes. Let's go check on that now. It's been a while. It's been a while. Let's go check. Because like I said, when I unlocked the achievement, I was literally like 9.7% of players who had gotten it. So
Which
that
is not a lot.
which is not a lot.
No.
So like a lot of the stuff I was talking about, like people hadn't gotten there. So when I'm talking about how buggy the game is, like it's like part of Act 2 and like all of Act 3 is a disaster. But Act 3 is just as long as Act 1. It's a good 60 hours. That's like 60 hours of just a buggy mess.
I mean, I have played almost 7,000 hours in The Sims 4, so I cannot act like I am above having 60 hours of buggy mess because
No,
only 60 hours of a buggy mess, uh, that's light work to a Sims 4 player, unfortunately. You know,
okay,
it's very
so found it. Finished the game. 14.1% of players.
oh, that really, changes my perception of what people were talking about when they were talking about this game.
eh,
Because all I heard about is, banging mind slayers and fucking a bear.
That is probably 0.1% of the game.
yeah, the how do I put it? The chaotic bits of the game are feeding a starved audience.
Yeah, like now the gameplay is very fun. The gameplay is super super fun, but like narratively, it's kind of all over the place. Like I
Yeah.
was talking to some other people and I describe it the exact same way that I described the Mass Effect series because like there are so many parallels to the Mass Effect series and the way that the narration is handled to me, and I have a lot of the same like issues like with the ethical writing. So like to me, they're like a really good comparison, even though they're like totally different genres. Um, where it's like there's just like these really great, powerful, moving moments, like moments, and these are the ones that stick in our brain. But it's held together by cotton candy that
Oh
just
God.
dissolves when you touch it.
Yeah.
And you know what? The ending is also not good.
But don't you have multiple endings? So, like, I think it's very hard to write a game with multiple endings and have them all be satisfying. Like, I feel like that's just not.
None of them are satisfying.
Oh, okay. Because I always.
No, yes, there are multiple endings, but they're all rushed and unfinished.
Well, maybe they're gonna do a DLC that will make it have a better ending. A la.
They actually need to. Like there's a lot of unresolved questions. There's an entire character who they just a beloved character actually who has like the worst story ending, like period. And it's done in a way that makes no sense. Like it doesn't make narrative sense within what the game gives you at all.
Oh.
Like there's actually a solution for this character
Is it very like
in
Fallout, where the ending is like, well, you got to go kill yourself, even though you have a party member that could like withstand all the radiation, and he's like, well, nah,
it's very
that's
familiar to that
ending.
actually.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
familiar. It,
I
it
can't deal.
actually like it doesn't do that exactly, but like the feeling and like the feeling of the unfinished rushed ending is very Fallout adjacent.
Okay, I think you might have just like completely talked me out of trying Boulder's
Like
Gate.
the worst part is like the first part of the game, solid. It's super good. It's fantastic. And like even the second act is like pretty good, but the second act is very short. Like the second act to me just exists because act 1 and act 2 are too long. Like you need a break. Like you have to break it up. And so like act 2 is like very short. It's probably about 30 hours of the game. Whereas like act 1 is like can be like a good 50 hours and act 3 is another good 60 hours. And you have act 2 in the middle of it that just breaks them up a bit.
Yeah, I'm still like,
But yeah, no, like it really is like a D&D experience. And you know that like when you play D&D, there's like the level of bullshit. It captures that really well. Um I was fighting like there's an area where you can go in and I noticed immediately like, oh, there's rafters. Well, I gotta kill these motherfuckers anyway. What if I just I don't know, make the chandeliers fall and on the dude casting a ritual down there and simultaneously make some other people explode. And it was great.
because like you're making it sound like there's so many like great moments,
There
but
are.
then you're basically saying that it's just gonna shit the bed later, and I feel like
It's not
I
consistent. It goes like this. It's a wave. So like as I was saying, like I was as I was playing the game, there was just like there are times when I'm sitting there, I'm genuinely enjoying myself. And then I'm like, oh, this just made me angry.
yeah, I don't know if I
And
could
then
do
I'm
that
back
kind of
to seriously
yo-yo
enjoying
experience.
myself. It was a very emotional roller coaster. Everybody was watching me like live tweet my feelings about it across discords.
Well, because so I caught a lot of you in our Discord, and I was like, oh, so I thought you were enjoying yourself. At least the ones that I saw
Yeah,
when
there
it
were times
first
I was
came out.
absolutely enjoying myself. And do I have another playthrough? I do have another playthrough. It's kind of nice walking around with a unambiguously black character, even if they're in the race of something else.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
did not appreciate the sexist comments at my drow when I reached Boulder's Gate. That wasn't super fun. There
yeah.
was
I'm kind of over like fantasy racism and sexism,
oh
especially because like as I'm creating something and I could just go, you could just not have it. Like you're creating a world. Like you could just make a world where like there's not sexism. You could just do that. There's no rules
Nigella.
against it. You could just
Nigella. Nigella. Thank you. Yes.
like
It doesn't need to be there. But it makes the world feel more realistic. To whomst?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you need that? Why, I mean, can you not make the world feel realistic without that?
Mm-hmm.
Does a character need to sexually harass my character because they're a drow?
I actually feel like it makes it more realistic to not have it.
Like why is it specific? So like because they decided to build it off of like the lore of uh 5th edition D&D. Like each character race like gets treated differently. So like if you're playing as a tiefling, people be looking at you like you're demon spawn, even though there's no fucking reason to. If you're playing as a drow, they fucking treat you like a drow. Like they treat you like how the D&D 5th edition universe treats drow, and drow are 100% based off of black people. There's like no question about that. And so like having there's enough detail to where the racism that playing as a drow, like there's like different kinds of racism depending on where you are. So like where it goes from like, oh, it's you people to I reached the city where people have like different ideas and stuff, and they're like sexually harassing me because drow are known for being like over sexual, highly sexual
Which is
beings.
like,
And I'm like, why is that necessary?
yeah. I
But I
feel like
also
it
went into the
reflects
game knowing that was the case.
yeah. But I feel like worlds like that is more reflective of the people who are writing it than the players. And I feel like when people write that, they're doing it in a way that they're just not considering anybody that isn't them.
Yes. And no, I agree. Also, like, a lot of the character narratives, like the people that you talk to, and I really enjoyed this part about it, are like exploring different kinds of trauma. And that was kind of cool. So like there's, one of them, like their entire trauma is around like escaping an abusive like family. Um and like all the stuff with that. And I thought it was a really great metaphor. Um did not if the game hadn't been what it was, I wouldn't have noticed this. But because of the game not being what it was, I was just like, it really had to be an Asian guy. As the head abuser, I'm like, I don't like that.
Mm,
Yeah, I did not like that.
no.
But again, because that was like after I had put like several hundred hours after like in this world, and with the writing. And there's another character that's talking about like how you reconnect with your family over like a really huge misunderstanding and a traumatic event like that is also part of that misunderstanding. So like, and that was really cool because it wasn't like nobody was wrong. It was just a really it was a terrible event happened that caused a rift between them. And when they it does get resolved, and like I said, nobody was wrong in that situation, but like that doesn't stop feelings. So it was like a very like human, real well written sort of narrative.
And then
And
you
then there's
fuck
like
a bear.
and then you have Halston where you fuck a bear. Like I'm just like,
That
you can fuck a bear. I'm just like, okay, sure.
yeah, see, like I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about those moments. I'm just hearing
Yes, no. Well, this
about
is a problem with fandom. Fandom latches onto very specific things and just goes wild with those things, and headcanons take over, and there's like, okay, but these are things that actually happen within the scope of the game.
yeah, I'm not hearing anything like that
Yes,
at all.
no, I've actually been very frustrated about like how much like meat of the game is not talked about.
Yeah, like and I
Like do you like there's so much racism in the game. I couldn't find anything written on it.
I don't like so like I don't know. From what you're saying, it kind of makes me want to check it out. But then the fact that you say that the resolution is so bad, I feel like it wouldn't make it worth it. And I also don't want to recreationally experience racism.
Yeah, it's a toss up. Like it's one of those things where I'm just like, I think it's a game worth playing. I don't think it's very good, but I think it's a game worth playing, and I think it's got a lot of like really enjoyable highlights. The ending's really bad, and the writing just starts falling apart. But like, I think the game can be enjoyable without those things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't appreciate the fantasy racism. That's not enjoyable. At no point did I find that enjoyable, and at some points it was completely inignorable.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess for some people, like that is going to be their vibe. Like there are mods to add racism into The Sims 4 and I'm like,
Excuse me?
"But why?"
Yes,
Yeah. So you could have a mod where like people from different worlds will have a different language and that's fine. But then there are people who made a mod to build off that where like if your sim is from like Newcrest, they will not like people from like Oasis Springs, which is not, it doesn't work like by like what the sim looks like. It's just like from where they're from. But it's still adding like bigotry into the fantasy world where there is none. And I think part of the reason why I've spent so long in The Sims is because I get to have an escapist fantasy where everybody could look so varied and nobody is going to be like fat characters aren't treated poorly because of their size and dark skinned characters aren't treated poorly because of their skin tone. So I don't really get why people want to add that in. I mean, I get people add all kinds of things. I have my Sims economy is pretty much ran by the strip clubs, um, but I don't super
listen, that makes
understand.
sense to me.
But then you have people who will add like the drug epidemic, where you have Sims that are now addicted to fentanyl. Like I'm just like, but why? But why?
It was a mistake to give us the internet.
I mean, I saw Mario 64 Goatsy. Absolutely, the internet should not have happened.
Listen,
It
the
is
internet
not
should
of
not
the
have happened.
Lord.
You don't think that's all community building there?
Aaron,
What? Here's the deal. If you are into Mario Goatsy, I want you all to find each other so you do not find me. And I think that there is great value in that. And I think we're missing that bit right there. I don't want them searching the streets
Yeah.
for it. I don't want them out, and I don't want to discover it on accident. So if that's what you're into, I like to know that you have a place to go. A place to go. To go.
Yeah, but I feel like human nature ruins it because as I've seen in the Sims community, there is so much infighting because people are mad at how other people play the Sims, which I know might sound very um I'm maybe I'm an asshole because I just
I mean,
complained
that's
about people adding the drug epidemic into the Sims.
well,
But like
that's a little
there'll be
different.
people,
It's a little different, but
yeah,
yeah.
there will be people who will hate other simmers because of the aesthetic of their game. Like, because there's Max's Match, which is, the kind of more cartoony, less realistic version that matches how the game ships. And then you have Max's Mix, which adds maybe some more realism, uh, a better texture quality. And then you have Alpha, which basically makes it look like a completely different game, but it's still the same core gameplay, which does not sound like something that will result in people hurling racial insults at each other, but it absolutely does. So, for the longest time, because a lot of the Black CC creators in the Sims 4 community did Alpha CC was rejected by a lot of players. They
Hmm.
basically ghettoized a whole aesthetic of the game.
Huh.
And it caused like actual infighting. Like there were groups that would not want you to post any alpha sims. which is basically the way clubs in the early 2000s would have those long list of things that basically said no Negroes. No Alpha CC was basically that became short for we don't want your colored Sims around here.
Huh. That I did not know.
Yeah, it's
Never shocking and never shocking, slightly disappointing, but never shocking.
yeah, I can't say I'm super surprised, but I'm still sad that it happened. It continues to happen. Like there are so many people who try to gatekeep certain aesthetics for The Sims, and I just don't get the need to do that.
Like, why? It's the fucking Sims.
I- There are some people who like take it way too seriously. There'll be people who would be like, "Oh, like your how you play the game is wrong," and then they'll like try to lecture people, and it's like it's literally a single player game. However anybody plays it that brings them enjoyment is correct. Like,
Now, I might have some questions about your decisions, but
yeah,
go off.
exactly. Like, I might judge you if you, like, went through the painstaking process of making every sim white. That's kinda weird, but, like, I'm gonna side eye you for it, but, like, as
Yeah,
long as
have
you
fun.
don't bring it to my attention, do whatever in the
Listen,
privacy of your own realm.
have fun with your digital ethno state, but we don't need to know that.
Yeah, but there are people who, like, definitely decided there's, like, a caste system for Sims. And not even without the CC, there are people who will discard people that don't play on PC or Mac because they can't use mods. So all the console players are seen as, like, lesser simmers
Oh,
than
that was
those on,
oh,
PC or Mac.
that was me. Like the reason why I don't play The Sims at all is because I just have console, and I'm like, I don't want to hear it at all. By bringing the only person I could talk to about The Sims would be you, and so I'm like, let me just not bother. So
Well,
yeah.
I made you a CC free version of yourself.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm talking about like me playing Sims on my Xbox. No, it's a no go. Just cause I wouldn't have any mods. You made me in your game, which is actually delightful, and I appreciate you. But yeah, that's what I'm playing on console. Like I can't go anywhere with it. I can't talk about. Because everyone who plays The Sims
Well, I
seems
kind
to
of
play
feel
on
like
PC.
because we've had so many years of like improvements to I don't want to say base game, but like the non-modded game, because these improvements did come mostly through expansions. I feel like if you have all those expansions, it's a full game now. It wasn't like when it launched where when The Sims 4 launched, it was not a complete game. I would not fault people for not wanting to play it because I didn't wanna play it when it first launched.
Ain't nobody want to play
I
that
thought
shit.
it was insulting what they launched with.
I think my favorite part about it was just like, that shit just didn't work.
No, it did not. I
It
think
like
I
actually
waited
just
for
didn't
5
work.
years before I started playing The Sims 4 because it just wasn't functional.
Like I was like, good luck. I was like, I'm glad for everybody who has been able to get this fucking game to work, but I can't.
Yeah. I mean, do we brace ourselves every time there's an update? Yes. But do I feel like it's an actual functional product? Yes. Do I think it's great that I spent hundreds of dollars to get it to this state?
No.
No. Absolutely not. Which is why people are like, "Oh, you play The Sims all the time. Do you recommend it?" And I'm like, "Not really." Like, I'm depressed and had, like, access to money that nobody was monitoring, which is why I have every pack except for the Star Wars one because fucking ad during a global pandemic for a theme park that cost $2,000 to go to. But, The Sims, if you buy every expansion pack not on sale, is over $1,000 now, and I can't tell somebody that this gaming experience is worth $1,000. This is just what I do because I can't do fun drugs anymore. So
The sim is a fun drug.
pretty much.
Also,
Accuracy.
also,
The accuracy.
console Sims doesn't have fucking to the scale that PC Sims has with the mods.
No. Even though like as much as I am very upfront with I have Wicked Whim in my game,
As you should.
but it is way more explicit than any other Sims adult mod before it.
Perfect.
Like you could now pick the size and symmetry of your Sims balls. Like I'm not even being facetious. That is something you could do with this mod.
Listen, shout out for realism. I'm here for it.
Right.
But
I'm tired of this like idea that like body parts are symmetrical because I've got some news for you, buddy.
yeah, you could all kinds of different labia. But I feel like this mod makes it a more inclusive game.
How
Because
so?
as it was with because you have to deal with bodies more and genitals, and now you have they added, I guess a year and a half ago, I want to say, they added being able to have change a pronoun or change certain gender expression. But like with the Wicked Wind mod, it's like, no, like here is like an actual like trans body,
Oh.
and you could like have that sim like live a rich and like loving existence, which I think for a lot of people pretty darn good. Like without there's just being able to like play with so many varied types of these representative people and give them these like aspirational lives and not have to shy away from the genitalia of it all, I think is worth it. Is just like a good, like I feel like being able to have representation in a life simulation where they do all the life is important. I think it's kind of weird that we're like, oh, we're gonna have a life simulator, but nobody fucks. Like that's like weird, right?
I mean, to be clear, that's why I never thought it was a weird mod. I never thought it was a strange, out of place mod. Having your Sims be able to do as much as possible just makes the most sense given the game you're playing, I thought.
Yeah, like I did like a little collab with an acquaintance, and they were very shocked to find out that like with Wicked Whims it added menstruation. And they're just like, but why? And it's like, it's a life simulator. Like people menstruate. Like why wouldn't you have that in there? Uh so like there are mods that you can have that add ashiness mechanics. So your sim has to have like they gotta remember to put lotion on or else they'll have ashy knees and elbows. Like
Listen, I can't remember to put lotion on all the time. I do not want to be reminded in my game. Let me pretend it, Jayla.
I mean, not for nothing. I also don't have that in my game. I had it for a while, then I'm like, this is laborious.
I refuse. This is escapism. I'm moisturized 100% of the time. Go fuck yourself. I don't want to think about that in my game.
So
Yeah,
what,
I was like, you know what? Moisturizer is implied when they shower.
Thank you.
So what happens when your ashiness levels get too high? Do you just start like
They get like a debuff. So they get like a plus, a minus, or they get a +2 sad and a +1 discomfort because they're itchy, because they're ashy, and they're not moisturized.
No,
Yes,
I
I'm
don't fucking
sorry.
care. Like, I understand what's happening. I'm just refusing it.
I mean, in the actual game, if you get the cottage living expansion pack, they add lactose intolerance. So you could have the trait where you're lactose intolerant. So if you eat something that has dairy, like your sim will get the poops and they'll be uncomfortable.
Absolutely
So
the fuck not.
I kind of, I
Go
kind of,
fuck
I kind
yourself.
of, I kind of love that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I bet almond milk is more expensive in The Sims too. No.
I th-
It is, but you could also, I mean, it's in the real world too. Like, why is
That's
oat
why
milk
my
so much more?
escapism, Jayla, my escapism.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can mod it so that's the same price. Somebody's got to have thought of it. That's the best part about mods. I literally started modding because I had like very little gripes that would just annoy me. And I would find mods to fix those like very little things. And then it turned into, getting these much bigger sweeping mods that, add things like lactation because, your Sims get pregnant, but why aren't they lactating? So they got to have like a breast pump and they could like leak. They get sore. They got to
So,
suck a clog out.
so what if you're
Is
like,
there like recovery time after pregnancy? Because pregnancy tears up bodies in ways that people
Yeah.
There
don't want to
is.
talk
And
about.
also the mod that I got is from Panda Sama. And it's such a great comprehensive mod for it's like completely overhauls pregnancy. So they could now Sims, they gain weight, they get cellulite, they get stretch marks, like they could have if they get a cesarean, they will have a incision scar. Like they make like the bodies change. Like I also kind of like that I'm no spring chicken, so I kind of like that I can have my Sims go through graceful aging where your titties aren't going to sit as high as they used to, and that's beautiful.
Fucking normal.
Exactly. I kind of feel like some base game life simulators, it's just like a dollhouse, but I feel like a life simulation game is different than a dollhouse. Like you could play a dress up game, you could even do like a house building game, but what makes it a life simulator is you're guiding or role playing this character through like the human experience. And while I have no qualms with making it like, escapist, I think it has to have some teeth to it to make it real. Sometimes that means ashiness or having the sex mod that gives you, a lady boner in the morning. 'Cause sometimes you wake up horny.
my favorite bit is that you have all the mods in place to create a very meticulous life simulator, but like Raiden's in your game. But
I
like,
do it. It's like one of my favorite households. I'm not gonna lie.
like just straight up Metal Gear Solid, Cyber Ninja Raiden in the
I have
game.
Raiden. I also have a household for Jetstream Sam and his lovely Brazilian wife.
Good for them.
I love the lovely Brazilian wife. I think that's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Uh, and I have Senator Armstrong,
Not
who
Senator Armstrong.
who like also married a sim that looks like way too much like Cardi B for some reason.
Good on you,
Not
Senator.
planned by me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and they live really happy. Ryden met one of the strippers in the club, and then they fell in love and got married, and now they had 2 kids, but those 2 kids were like glitch babies because when they implemented neighborhood stories, which was supposed to incorporate like neighborhood progression, because The Sims 4, unlike previous Sims installments, never really had like automatic progression of characters you weren't controlling or currently controlling. So they tried to implement that. It didn't it didn't really pop off originally. So there was a lot of glitches. So I have Raiden set to not be able to have to get other Sims pregnant because he's a robot, and I don't think they gave him a robot penis.
He's not. Is he a whole robot? I thought he was like I thought he was like a robot cupcake with human filling.
The only part of him that is human is his head, like 3/4 of his head, like the top
Really?
part.
So he's like RoboCop?
Yeah, and like I think one of his hands, but that gets like cut off in Revengeance.
Oh shoot!
So
Oh,
he's like
Oh,
he's a robot mostly. Or
I thought he
yeah.
was like. I thought he was kind of like.
Jetstream Sam is actually a guy in a robot like armor suit, and he has like one arm that is mechanical, but everything else is like human,
Oh,
just enhanced by the suit.
so he can knock up his wife.
Yes.
Huh.
I pretty sure canonically has a penis. And General Armstrong, not General, Senator Armstrong has nanobites, so I guess he would have genitals, but I don't
I feel
want
like
to
he
think
could.
about his genitals.
I feel like he could functionally create something to impregnate another person because he has the nanites. Like they could do whatever. They could probably form whatever he needs to have to get someone pregnant. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
he probably can have an Everboner because it's just like nano machines
Right.
constantly repairing
Right.
his erectile tissues.
I'm shocked how much I know about Metal Gear Solid Revengeance off the top of my head. Like, I didn't realize that I would be able to engage in a conversation about Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Revenge. I
I
didn't.
literally watch somebody play through that game every week.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I know you're a
I
fan,
love
but
that game.
I know it's a fantastic game. I just didn't realize it because I played it years ago. And I didn't remember how much I retained because I played it and I was like, this is chaos. And I don't even think I didn't like it
Yeah.
at the time because I was being a little shit. But yeah, so yes,
It was
please.
great. I also added Blade Wolf since you've seen my game, but because like the Sims have like occult people. So there's like vampires, there's werewolves, and there's spellcasters. So I just decided that a spellcaster made Blade Wolf into a real dog. So I made like, because it was too hard to try to make a robot dog. I, I'm good, I'm not that good. So I made him like a dog with like some robotic esque accoutrement. And he lives with Raiden and Raiden's children, of which he has 3 now, because the first 2 are glitch babies, because neighborhood story progression just decided to give everybody babies. Even like his wife shouldn't have gotten pregnant, but she just did, and she had twins, and they're adorable, and I love them. And then with the new, not the newest, but the growing together expansion pack, you could have artificial insemination. They call it a science baby. So they got to have a non-glitch baby. So now they have a son, and he is a toddler now, and he has white hair like his dad. So cute.
This is
I love
awesome.
you, Jayla.
This is all. This is all. So this is wonderful. And I just want everyone. That was kind of the point. Was I kind of wanted everyone to understand the depths of the potential sim experience that you have available to you. Because I realize what
Yeah.
happens is games come out and we kind of blow them off even as games grow. So every once in a while I like to like come back to games and just kind of have someone who's been there the whole time walk us through in some way or the other how it's grown. And this is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. And I deeply appreciate you for
I
this.
feel like what you get out of The Sims 4 is what you put into it. Because there are people who be like, "Oh, this game is so boring. I don't know what to do. It's just like a sandbox, whatever." And I'm like, just say that you're boring. Like it's okay to not have it. But me, my brain, I'm spicy. Like I'm always thinking of weird save files. So my newest save file that I'm working on right now is Mortal Kombat, but boring. So I'm making all the characters from Mortal Kombat that I can think of, but they're all like they have mundane jobs. So I'm making them all in The Sims. Uh the only one I'm having trouble with is trying to find CC to make the Turkatans, but I'll figure it out. I mean, there are a lot of people who've made like stuff to make Melina, but not a lot of people make like Baraka with the sword. But I'll find it. I'll figure it out. I'm
I'm
very
rooting for
excited.
you. I'm very,
I'm
I'm
in the
very,
process.
I'm excited to see how Baraka and Molina's relationship progresses because I always feel like the Mortal Kombat universe did their relationship dirty.
I actually don't love the direction that they went in Mortal Kombat 1. I don't mild spoilers for Mortal Kombat 1. I know it's not that old, so I don't want to spoil it.
Let's fucking spoil that shit.
So they made instead of Tarkatans being a people, it's now a disease.
I hate it here. Fuck them.
Yeah, so Liu Kang basically had a chance to make the earth and have it be like peaceful. So in the new timeline that Liu Kang makes, Mortal Kombat is like a misnomer because nobody's ever died in a Mortal Kombat tournament. Which
Fucking Liu
wild
Kang. It's so
choice.
fucking boring.
Yeah, and he made it so that Melina and Katana get to like grow up and be sisters and like love each other, which is great.
Okay, I
Um,
don't hate that. Okay, Liu Kang, I see what you're doing.
yeah. But Melina still being coded as like the bad sister, you could tell because she's a lesbian.
Oh no,
Is
not a lesbian. Wait,
out on town hotting and thotting and
do it.
gets the Tarkatan disease.
No, they made it an
And that is
STD.
when well, it's not an STD, but like she gets it. And so they kind of do this like weird, like maybe it's because I do like advocacy for HIV/AIDS. I'm seeing that's the only parallel I could see where they're like,
That's
you can't
Jayla.
criminalize a disease, which is like the point of the Tarkatan story. It just, but I'm just like, oh, people with you know HIV/AIDS don't have swords coming out of them. So, like, it's it's. I have complex feelings on that narrative direction that they decided to go. It doesn't make me feel great. I also don't like how they treated the combat kids, characters that I actually really liked, and feel like they, in better hands, could have been really great characters.
they did the thing where they just kind of like they're funny so they have all these story bits, and I would feel a different way if they didn't just fucking take the toy box and just fill it with LSD, because by the end of it they established that all Mortal Kombat is all canon, all of it.
Yes.
Any instant you've ever known,
Every
everything
instant
you've
hit,
ever
yeah.
any interaction you've had with Mortal Kombat is canon, so it's fine. It's the most chaotic shit, but the best thing to do for a fighting game story I've ever seen. Where it's like, because I was the same way, I was like, this story is a little weird. Why is this a disease now? And why are they banishing all these people? And the only person doing research is Shang Tsung. That's not good. Anywho, but then they were like, yeah, fuck it, it's all fine. The characters you remember exist somewhere, and we can call upon them at any moment. They're all fighting somebody. And now that all the doors, all the timelines have been kicked open, So it's absolute chaos from here for the next 4 years of DLC. Have fun. And story. I was like, all right, well, that's chaotic.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's unhinged. It's
Which,
appropriate. And I'm
you know, I really I feel as much as like I've been a lifelong Mortal Kombat fan, since I snuck into the arcade to play it when they wouldn't let me in. Um, I
Bitches.
kind of feel like they need to stick to the next step of this story and have the balls to stick with it.
it's a fighting game. Mm-mm. I
I
mean,
know,
so
but I am a slag for lore, and
I
now
am.
I feel like this whatever goes. I feel like now, if you're a fan, what like where do you attach?
So
Like,
so at some point, like, you have a story and you keep rotating characters out because of the story. At some point, you need to draw the line somewhere. Mortal Kombat's been around for decades. It's like Tekken. At some point, you have to say, fuck it. It's the same problem Tekken has. Characters are being rotated out for narrative purposes 30 years after the fact. Please stop. Just have it. I'm sorry. I hear you, but like at the end of the day, we need to fill the character select screen with niggas.
yeah. But I kind of feel like you could still do that and then have the established lore not be helter skelter, whatever catches, you know?
I mean,
Like,
there was
I feel
already
it's like an undisciplined way of storytelling.
they've already kind of the thing about it is they already disregarded a Mortal Kombat. They were like Mortal Kombat was it 9, 10, and 11? Was it where they disregarded like the story from like I think it's like the 3D ones where like they
Yes,
introduced it.
but they like I feel like that was a good choice because the 3D era was the nadir of Mortal Kombat lore storytelling. And now with Mortal Kombat 1, it's like they took 2 steps forward and now I feel like taking 3 steps back because they're trying to like redeem the shat and the really like bad parts of it. Uh, and I don't think you have to. I think that's the best part of having genre fiction is, you know, if you like the 1998 comic book that like 28 people read, sure, that could be your canon, that's fine. But I feel like to say it's all canon
Yeah, I
makes it very hard because like where do they go from here?
anywhere, literally anywhere. The
I
thing
feel like
I have a moral opposition against having things destroyed like that. Like I just it's always been it's a like I realize that that's kind of a thing. I am not a huge fan of having canon destroyed in the middle of it because they never really finished anything. It was just bad, and they were like, "Ah, this is bad. Fuck it." And some people kind of liked it, and it's Mortal Kombat, so like. You know what I mean? If there was ever bad lore to linger on, it would be that. So like if
I
they
just need them to like let Liu Kang live for fucking one. That's all I want.
he's alive, he's
I
got
mean,
his
he
money.
no,
Fine.
no,
He's
no,
out
was
here.
sorry.
alive for
Let
the
me
majority of the lore.
rephrase. That man is canonically supposed to be a badass. Why the fuck is he folding all the time?
Oh, he's not. He's putting the paws on people in Mortal Kombat 1. You'd be surprised.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I said they need to let him
It-
let him be.
I also like found something like very poetically beautiful in the fact that like uh with the Revenants, they were like happier dead. Like Katana kind of had a glow up as a dead chick because she's like she had her mama, she had her man, she was vibing. Was she dead? Sure, but I
That's
don't
true.
know. There was something about it. I was like, you know,
That's true. Liu Kang himself, he seemed a little bit less hesitant as a character when he was dead.
yeah,
He just like put the paws on people. He's a powerhouse, but he was always a little too. He didn't have the mental for the amount of power that he wielded, except when he was dead. Then he knew what to
Yeah.
do.
pretty much.
He knew what to
Like,
do. So
uh, and I also thought, you know, that was when they used to make bold narrative choices. That guy who is like the special, well, I guess he's not so much special. He's a zombie now. He freaking died. Like that, I respected when Mortal Kombat had the balls to make those choices.
I mean, isn't this ballsy?
I mean, I feel like it's not because
But
you're just refusing
it's
to make a
it's
choice. You're
challenging
just
you.
saying
It's
everybody gets it.
yeah, it's challenging you to pay attention to all the Mortal Kombat lore ever, and there's a shit ton of it. It's a
Yeah, I
challenge.
know, because
It's a
I am the neurotypically spicy person that paid attention to all
yes.
of it.
Yes, but the rest of us, we skip big chunks of it. Now it's on us. Listen, the amount of people who were looking up who the fuck is Havoc or Darius, you know who Havoc
Never
and
mind.
Darius are
I
off the top.
did.
Right,
And I
you
have to say, like, I was pretty okay with Havoc not being in Mortal Kombat. Like, I feel like he's my limit. He's just gross. Like, he makes me sad.
Havoc? Yeah,
I don't
Havoc
Havoc.
is disgusting. He's
He's
awful.
so gross.
And the soundscape is so perfect. I hate it. His soundscape is so
Like,
gross.
I feel like if I was playing online and my opponent, I saw their Havoc, I'm quitting. Like, no, I don't want to, like,
Bro.
unless you could have it so I could say I do not ever want to see Havoc on my screen,
Havoc.
I'm not
He's-
playing online matches. I'm
He
not.
sounds like
He's gross.
he
I
sounds
hate
like
him.
a meat lover's pizza doing martial arts, and it is fucking disgusting. Oh my fucking god!
And like the bone, like I just hate.
But it's great.
And
He's a great character. He is superb, and he's disgusting. I love it. And that's what I mean. I had to go dig up who the fuck Havoc was. I had to go look up I looked up at least 2 hours of who the fuck Havoc was. Now I gotta read comics.
Yeah, see, I just know it. For several years, Mortal Kombat was my special fixation.
Oh, I see why
Please
you don't like it
look up
because
my
you.
fan fiction.
Oh, this is not a challenge to you at all. You already know everything, every single thing that they're referencing. Because it's like seemed like it's an open challenge to people who skip some of the shit. Because I had to look up. There's one of the demons, or the demon faction from Chaos Realm. I had to look up because I missed all that.
Serena and them.
Right, I had to look all that up. I had to go back and look up Mortal Kombat 4 lore, a little
Not
bit
just
more.
that,
Four.
but the into the live action serial
Yes.
also had that faction,
Yes.
and they actually gave somebody the costume of them in that live action series, which I love because like that series does not get any acknowledgement. People really used to pretend that never happened, and it did. I was there, and I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to
I
watch
like
it.
the
And
I like the
did.
show. I love those serialized shows that are just terrible based on things that we love dearly. Oh, those are perfect. Those are perfect programming.
I love that show. I will not hear anybody talk shit about that show.
Thank you.
It was legit. Like I feel like if we could enjoy non-ironically Xena Warrior Princess, why can't
Thank you.
Right.
we
Thank
enjoy
you.
the Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat live action? Like it was good. It was good programming. It was entertaining, and there was combat.
It was
And
high
it
camp
was
with
mortal.
combat. It was
Exactly.
high camp.
Yeah.
People are just ungrateful. They don't know what they don't know what they're missing.
I think that's
Ungrateful bitches.
I think that's why I like it so much is because because Mortal Kombat's story got good over the past decade or so. But there's a big chunk of time where it was absolute nonsense, but it still had value. We were just too busy demanding serious Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat was high literature to begin with. So now for them to turn around and be like, that also counts, I just think it's funny.
I mean, I guess I can see that. But the thing is, I do think that there are elements, even from the lowest point of Mortal Kombat
Yes.
lore, that was interesting.
I
'Cause
agree.
If you look at the comic book that like fleshed out Mortal Kombat 10, like it explored some characters, like it brought characters back from like the old Malibu comic run, which were really dumb. But like you could still take those characters and I guess like I don't want to say redeem them, but they can be used
Right.
well.
Yes, all characters are effectively tools in a sandbox. If not this one, then the next one. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess I feel like it is like a cop out, so they don't have to make the hard decision of saying this is uh because I mean everybody is used to the concept of like multiverses. Like every normie on the street can get that concept now. But even in the best of them, DC has their Earth 1, Marvel has their 616. Like we know what is like the hierarchy of lore and
Well,
what is
well,
like
well, I assume.
canon with a capital C.
Well, I assume that the current Mortal Kombat 1 world where Liu Kang is the thunder and is the god of thunder and fire is our Earth 1. Like I assume that isn't that the baseline, and then we can just like I assume the story that we'll continue hearing is about Liu Kang from Earth 1. It's just letting you know that the Mortal Kombat TV show you watched also has value, and you're good, and you're a good bean, you're a good egg. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like a general acknowledgement of things, because like I said, when you watch these things, the when they're not good and you still watch, they get destroyed in the middle of it, and people are like, yeah, good riddance to that trash, Mortal Kombat sucks, and you're sitting there like, I don't think it sucks.
Pretty much.
And it's getting pwned out and everyone's cheering and everything, and it's I always think it's like a nudge, it's like a wink to the people in the back who still have episodes of the Mortal Kombat TV show on their Dropbox, It's like we
But I
see
do
you.
feel like they make it known what they value and what they don't. Like the people who made Mortal Kombat 1 definitely are fans of the 3D era that feel much maligned
Yes.
and hated the Combat Kid era, which I feel is wrong, and I would fight them in a Burger King bathroom.
I agree.
Not a Burger King bathroom.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I've actually seen that. That's real. I've seen two people fight and it spill out of a Burger King bathroom in San Francisco. Like, that is legit. Like, that was like that scene in Kill Bill where the two ladies were fighting each other in a trailer. Like, it was fucking serious. I don't know what the disagreement was. Like, I understand you broke that metaphor out, but it was spot on to personal experience. You wouldn't have known, but now you know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's because I have such a gripe because I feel like when they had the Combat Kids, they had a very solid vision of like progression
Mm-hmm.
of this story. And I feel like, especially the way they treated these characters when you do see them, the flash in the pan that you do see them, um, it is to say, oh yeah, I mean, like that was dumb. This new generation, we don't need to grow. We're gonna have this story that circles the drain for fucking ever, and I feel like that is bad storytelling. Like, I mean, unless maybe Mortal Kombat 12, they explore what it's like to be fighting in a world where it doesn't mean anything because it just keeps on happening and happening and happening, and they are literally in some kind of Sisyphean purgatory. But I highly doubt that.
I mean, I thought that was what they were hinting at the end of the game, was the fact that they will just be in fact fighting forever because everyone fought and they had this big war, and all that was discovered was that Liu Kang and Shang Tsung, two apparent morons, didn't realize that there were millions of other timelines in existence in parallel with their own. Did not notice. No one noticed. And at the end of all this fighting, here comes Havoc, his meat lover pizza himself, coming down the stairs like, oh, this looks like a perfect opportunity for further evil. Let's partake. And they're just going to keep fighting forever. And now there's just going to be different people they can introduce to the timeline because they can literally pull people out of their living room while they're doing stuff into this current timeline.
Yeah,
Oh my God, there's gonna be like 18 Melinas.
Listen, there at the end of that game, at the end of the game, a lot of different variants of Mortal Kombat characters collided with a lot of different variants of Mortal Kombat characters.
You had Joni Cage.
Yes, Joni Cage. Yes, they had Thunder God Kung Lao, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Thunder God Kung Lao was my. I'm a Kung Lao fan. That made me happy, just to see him on the screen for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Love
I
Kung
would just
Lao.
love a Mortal Kombat main game where Jackie Briggs gets to exist
oh, I like the
without, because like if you look at all the games where she gets to be in, her ending for Mortal Kombat 11 was basically, I'm gonna erase myself from time because it'll make other people happy. Because I'm written by people who have never spoken to a black woman.
I agree with you. For the record, I do like the Combat Kid concepts, and I'm not, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the story of Mortal Kombat 1 because it does circle the drain. So when they just opened up the door in the timeline, I was like, oh, this is an avenue for absolute chaos. I see what you did here. Okay, cool. Fine. Okay, like I don't agree. I'm with you. I actually prefer the a cast of Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. I do. But I like I said, if this is if you're gonna do something chaotic, then like I said, then make it big.
Yeah.
And then
I just think it's convenient that the like nonconformist woman, the black woman, the gay guy, those are the three characters that are like, oh, we're never gonna use them again.
well, what? I don't understand. How are they not?
Well, I
That's what
feel like the way they're presented, like, unless they're gonna come up and be maybe cameo characters, something like
I
that,
mean. They
like,
could
I
just be.
don't feel like
Yeah.
they're gonna be using them anymore.
I mean, they could just be characters that come up. Like I don't. Like I said, that's the nature of the timeline. They'll definitely be back. That's the thing. It seems like the canon is not guided. The canon, that was the point of the story. It almost seemed like the canon is no longer guiding who you're going to see in this game. You will see whomever, whenever, and you'll have to pay for it. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to pay for
I
it. You
feel
will
like
see it.
they made you play through this, like, 6-hour story to explain something that no fighting game ever needed to explain. Like, we never thought, like, "Well, what? How could you fight yourself?" Like,
Well,
nobody ever gave a shit.
So what happens is, you know what happens in a lot of weird fighting games is like, so sometimes you get fighting games where the whoever is responsible creatively overthinks it. Like remember Soul Calibur 5 where they swapped
Yeah.
out
Quiet.
every
No. That game doesn't exist.
it
I
fucking
literally blocked it out of my brain. I'm not even kidding.
Bacon, we
I
need to
have
talk about Soul Calibur 5.
nigga, I have achievements for that game. I do not remember. I
Uh,
keep confusing it. Like I keep thinking, Soul Calibur 6 exists. Like I don't. The way my mind blocked out 5.
Right. And because they overthought the concept of time in these narratives so hard that they swapped out 80% of their known cast for anime tropes and just second tier replacements. They overthought it. And it's like, and you have some things, I guess, like sometimes Tekken will do this where it's just like a character is like 74 and looks great. And I think somewhere in there's like I think they're trying to reasonably address, now that we accept the idea of the multiverse as a community, as a global community. You say multiverse, you say Earth 2, you say Earth 3, we go cool, and we just keep it moving. Now that we're ready, they're trying to do the thing where fighting games exist in a multiverse, so all of the characters exist concurrently.
It's so
And
weird with Soul Calibur because Soul Calibur already had that written into the narrative, and then I don't know what they did with 5.
Yeah.
the
But
Soul
it had
Cal-
a cool character creator.
it did. It had a great character creator and absolutely the worst
Yeah.
cast of characters.
Yeah, because I always played with my custom characters. I never played with the roster.
No, the roster was awful, but they overthought it. They were like, all right, time passed, so then the characters must change. And that's not necessarily
Except we're
true.
gonna keep Killick because he's gonna be the weapon master now,
Right.
which is weird.
Very
because
strange.
like Killick never showed that he had any inkling toward any other weapon. So why would he suddenly be the weapons master, even
Right.
though he's older? It just was weird.
Yeah.
Killick is a himbo.
Yeah, like, but now they're casting him as like the wizened old weapons master. I'm like, this
Right.
choices were made.
Right. So
Somebody just really likes Killick.
right, and it happens often. You know, Tekken had to reconcile with this, where they swapped out characters, and then now they live in a world. They had to have a few games where the characters existed simultaneously. So it's like Michelle existed and her daughter existed in the same world, and they were like kind of like 5 years old apart from each other, maybe 10. So, I think since we're now open to the idea, Mortal Kombat was just like, fuck it, it's a multiverse, everything's on the table. Took your toy box, turned it upside down, told you to go to town. So, I see what you're saying, though. I do agree. I think the previous story is superior and the world that they built is superior. But in terms of like addressing the fighting game question, which because some people do think it needs to be like, I've read articles where some people really feel strongly about fighting game stories not changing. Like, and some people don't care at all. So I think Mortal Kombat took a good hard swing at it and went the Chaos Realm route of just having everything being on the table.
You would think that like me and my very sad history of writing Mortal Kombat fan fiction would be very happy that like if that's canon, everything's canon kind of approach. But then it's kind of like I guess the writer in me is like, but now what are the stakes?
Everything.
Like narratively.
Everything.
Because like no matter what Havoc and his absolutely disgusting sounds have in store for us for this DLC, I kind of feel like, and then what are the stakes? Because like in some other universe, you're just gonna pull somebody else that like already fixed the problem to come and fix the problem here, because you could just do this plug and play with everybody. Like,
well, I assume you can
destroy. Feels like musical chairs.
You can destroy a timeline. So I think at some point you can get into you can figure out how to quickly destroy timelines. So what's at stake are the timelines. They did establish that they can be destroyed, and rather easily by firing mind bullets at some clock or whatever that represents the timeline in one place.
Yeah.
So there is the multiple timelines are at stake.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the DLC that is Havoc focused. I know that somebody had such a hard on for the 3D era and specifically Havoc, but I think there is a very good reason why he just stopped showing up and everybody was better for it.
Well, they did the thing. It's hard to like. They did the thing where they established that he can't die at all. So it's like, all right, having a villain that can't really be harmed and can't die, like they're just gonna wind up putting his head in a jar like they did in the comics. And it's just not. Yeah. It's a little limiting. So I totally understand your concern, but
yeah, I mean, it's also like Mortal Kombat exists with the same rules as like comic books, where like, oh no, Wolverine's dead. He's covered in adamantium, and then like, yeah, but he got better a year later. Like,
I mean, that's what we've kind of understood. Like Mortal Kombat fatalities and stuff are apparently non-fatal. Unless they are, but they aren't until they are. But sometimes they are and are not. And yeah.
Well,
so.
I guess for the hyper focused fan of Mortal Kombat, I'm having a hard time adjusting.
Oh yeah, no, it's chaos.
That just might be the tism, and I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm gonna concede.
No,
it could just be me.
Oh no! You're not wrong. It's like it was a very bold. Only thing I say is that you say it wasn't a bold choice, and I say it was very bold. Except now it's triggered several brain buttons that you do not want to have pressed by your favorite thing. So yes. I totally understand if they have now accidentally pressed the wrong buttons, and now Mortal Kombat does not taste the same as it did 6 months ago.
I was about to say it could be the tism, but that doesn't mean the tism is wrong.
Right. Right.
It definitely feels like I've prepared my favorite meal and then I walked out of the room and then somebody warmed it up in the microwave and now the texture's wrong.
Yes, totally. It's a little rubbery Mortal Kombat now. A little too hot, a little too rubbery. Can't taste the season. I get it. I do. I totally understand.
And I'm usually somebody who's like, you know what? You can always just like recess into your mind palace, whatever canon that you want. But I guess it just bothers me that now there is no established canon with a capital C.
Yes, it's all.
And I know that is such a me problem.
Oh no, listen, it's true. I totally understand. There's no structure to the narrative at all anymore. There's no place to look up to, and there's no place to retreat to. Everything is valid, so nothing is valid, which again is rubbery, seasonless, microwaved Mortal Kombat you now have.
But you know what? Maybe there is like they said what a year at least of DLC plan for it. Because like the DLC that has been promised, like we're not seeing Homelander until like almost end of year 2024. So I know there's gonna be like a story DLC
Yeah.
in time for that. So maybe I will I will be avenged.
Listen, let's
with
keep an
this
eye out. Let's
next.
keep an eye out for comics and cartoons and stuff. So maybe they'll help square it up for you. But in
Yeah,
the
I wonder if they will ever put Cole from the Mortal Kombat movies that everybody kind of just politely decided to ignore.
I love him. He is so bland. And I love how the entire movie he just gets his ass roasted. The
Like
entire fucking
I
movie.
feel like if they're gonna add a character, should add his wife because she was way more memorable and like had more character moments than he did.
Yes, that's because he was a placeholder of garbage, and
right,
I loved it.
he was the audience for the audience's role in the movie because we connect too deeply to all the iconic Mortal Kombat characters. So we need a placeholder to then watch the movie through the eyes of someone we have no connection to. So enter Cole, who needs to be in the game as the most bland character possible. Like he just needs to have the most bland move
Yeah,
set.
though they made uh blind Sam Sword.
Kenshi.
Yes, they made his character model look like Great Value Cole.
Well, great value coal is
Like
great value in and of himself. So is it like greater value coal or
like I've had so many people ask me if that is him, if that's supposed to be him. And I'm like, no, that's
no?
an established character. They just changed the model. It's not supposed to be him. And like so many people were confused.
That'd
Uh,
be cool.
Actually
So
very funny.
then Cole could be even more bland when they put him in the game. I'm here for it.
what's weird is like I would love to play a character that uses his weapon.
Huh.
Like I would love to see like what move set that they make with that. Because speaking of SoCal, where Talon uses something very similar, and
Tell him.
one of my favorites. So I'm like, I would love to see that in a Mortal Kombat game, but I don't want him because he sucks so hard.
He needs to be in there because he needs to at least be a cameo character because he sucks.
Yeah,
He does.
and
I need the
I
announcer to go
love,
Cole. I think
I love that
go on.
everybody has a cutie mark in that universe, and I really want that to be addressed by all like the main Mortal Kombat people who are like, "What? We don't have those." You believe
Cutie
in
mark?
friendship hard enough? Yeah, like because in the Mortal Kombat movie, like Sonya, her whole like narrative is about her getting the Mortal Kombat mark to be chosen, which kind of just sounds to me like My Little Ponies and their cutie marks.
Nigella, I love you. Forever.
I mean, narratively, it serves the exact same purpose. Uh,
I mean, you're not incorrect, but I'm here for everybody realizing that now.
I feel like the writing was on the wall. Like I'm not crazy drawing that parallel, am I?
No.
Okay, good. But I would.
But also because I've got old school anime brain, my brain immediately went cutie honey, and I'm like, excuse me?
That song's gonna be stuck in my head now. No,
You're
why'd you play
welcome.
it?
It's so good though.
Uh,
One of the top 10 best anime songs.
it
Fight me.
is. It's so good, but it'll be in there for weeks.
All right.
I kind of wish if we're gonna have votes for guest characters in Mortal Kombat, they don't do such obvious choices. I feel like the characters that they're trying to get us hyped for are very on the nose. Also, I feel like Homelander shouldn't be picked. Omni-Man, yes. Homelander, no.
I feel like Homelander has done the rounds. He's in Call of Duty as well. Like it's
We
just
see he makes more
he
sense
does make
in
sense
Call
in
of
Call of
Duty.
Duty. It also makes sense that he would use a gun just for cruelty's sake.
Yeah.
He would use a gun just because a gun hurts more.
Yeah.
But yes.
Like that makes sense, but like I kind of feel like putting him with the Mortal Kombat characters is kind of like having a death battle between a coughing baby and an atomic bomb. Like he's very low tier if we really think about it. Because he doesn't really do combat. He's just the strongest guy around. Like his suit is padded. Like he doesn't like even have real muscles. So like it's weird. But I wish I could have like Devil Man. Like that would be a cool
Oh, it
Mortal
would be
Kombat
cool.
guest character.
That would be cool.
Or if
Actually,
you're doing like the horror, like get schlockier with it. Like give me Victor Crowley
I'm not Crowley.
from Hatchet.
No. No. No.
Because I mean, the iconic. We're running out of horror icons to add in this game, so like they can't all be winners.
I
Give me
guess.
some schlocky ones. Megan, the doll.
I'm waiting for
Okay,
Megan
don't
the
feel
doll.
bad.
I'm waiting for Megan the doll to appear. Mortal Kombat would be perfect for Megan the murder doll. 100% perfect for her. Also,
Imagine
because
if they had Farrah Tor in this one. She could be like a skin for Farrah.
Oh my god.
they would be they would have to
I
make
think
Megan.
about Mortal Kombat far too much.
Listen.
Is Mortal Kombat my Roman Empire? Like,
Oh my god, no, we're not bringing, you're not bringing this to cocktail here. I refuse. Putting my foot down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shut it down. We've now reached peak Mortal
I
Kombat
think
discussion.
you broke me.
Yeah, we've now reached.
We're done. I'm ending
know-
the show.
you know
I'm
what it
walking
is?
out. I need my mutiny pizza. Fuck this. Also our Patreon, please.
Patreon.com/unfriday. I think the problem is I don't think anyone's ever let you talk about Mortal Kombat with no leash before. Because I'll bring this back, by the way. I like Mortal Kombat, but I'm here for the. I didn't know I had the Mortal Kombat connoisseur / historian on staff.
I'm not proud of this.
No, I'm proud of it.
Najela wrote Mortal Kombat fan
Fiction.
Please don't look for it.
I'm looking for it. Sorry, you opened up the can of worms. I'm going in.
We are returning to Mortal Kombat fiction discussions. We are returning to it. I'm going to dig up that old show, and we are going to watch that old show.
So Najela,
I stand by that
about your AO3.
It was not an AO theory. Can't find it. It's on a blogger, and I'm not going to tell where you can find it.
Oh, it's on a blogger? Got it.
You're not going to find it. It's so buried.
But yes, we have
Internet may stop me temporarily, but I will find it.
We have a Patreon. We also have a Mortal Kombat historian now added to the staff live on the air, which is more reason to hop on the Patreon and support us, as we will have Patreon Mortal Kombat content. I'm only half joking because there's a very.
I will totally have my Mortal Kombat Sims when I'm finished with them, so you can download them on the Patreon.
Listen, your joy at talking about Mortal Kombat has now set everything in motion. And I want you to be happy. I always have, and I will continue to do so. So we will now forge a place, much like Justin in One Piece, for Najela and Mortal Kombat. It is written, so it will be so.
My favorite thing is we came here to talk about The Sims, and it actually ended up being about Mortal Kombat, and I think that's the funniest shit ever.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
Unmedicated ADHD, let's go!
Woo! If you want to see my Sims on the gallery, I am Blasian Bitch there. Bitch with a Y.
Have a pleasant day.
Top pinch with a Y.
That's how you spell it.
One more thing, we actually forgot to discuss net neutrality on the previous episode of ADD Space, and I didn't want to just give it 5 minutes at the end of the episode on our way out the door because it's actually a rather important thing, and we wanted to give it its own proper amount of time to properly flesh it out with our own jailery, who actually had several tabs and much research prepared to do some hard journalism. Well, not hard journalism, like stiff.
Hard throbbing journalism.
Right.
Softcore journalism.
It's like
I was
softcore journalism.
turgid with information.
I mean,
Turgid.
I mean, all right, so it's hard, like hard, erect, engorged journalism.
Is the vein popping out of the journalism?
Yeah, is the vein
Turgid
throbbing
with
out?
truth.
Okay, so it's like erect journalism. So, jailer, please enlighten us.
So, before I start, do you guys know what the concept of net neutrality is?
No, explain things like I've never heard of anything in my life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, the concept of net neutrality is basically making sure that everything can be accessible on the internet equally. So, ISPs can't decide if they will throttle your internet because you're accessing certain sites or information.
What about if you're trying to overthrow the government?
So I would guess the government could still seize your website if you're doing a terrorism or selling counterfeit goods. That is something that they could still do. But the FCC is actually supposed to be meeting on October 19th to vote on reclassification of broadband internet access.
Oh, so they still meet up.
Yes.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I know. So the big, hopefully, what will come of this is reclassification of broadband internet as a Title II entity will make it a service, like a public service.
Like a public service? Like, we won't.
Yes.
There might be, in the future, we will not be beholden to Comcast?
Yeah. So,
because please.
Broadband is a Title II telecommunications service, it then will give the SEC, they're basically going to be able to regulate it far differently than they were before. And they will be able to cement net neutrality. And what's really great about this is if they vote to reclassify, it will change not just how the internet is seen, but how it can be distributed, because it becomes public service. So it's going to be like electricity. It's going to be like,
which means you can't zone the bitch.
Yes,
they can't arbitrarily throttle us.
I mean, in the best case scenario, that would be the case. Yes, but of course, they would have to have this vote on the 19th to reclassify it. And then after that reclassification, under the Communications Act of 1934, that would change how lawmakers would approach the internet. So it will be the end to the quote unquote wild, wild west days of the internet, but those have been far gone anyway. But it will be, access won't be at the hands of ISPs only. there will probably be like a public offering option.
So there'll be like government internet.
Well, not just government internet,
Shadow
but
Public Utilities Internet.
yeah.
Okay.
And this could all start as soon as 2024 if the vote goes to reclassify.
But okay, so what's the likelihood of it to be reclassified? Because the FTC is really great for doing things that we don't want it to do, or its
Um,
job, or anything helpful.
I don't want to say because I don't want to.
You're not on the hook. This is just like best guess predictions with there's margins of error.
Well, because I feel like people aren't really paying attention to this vote. Like I have not seen nary a news story or anything like that. Nobody is trying to cut their teeth in making this, discourse. I hope that it will go through and it will be reclassified. Usually, the biggest stumbling block is somebody trying to make a name for themselves, going, "I'm thinking of the children, so we must take away like access to the internet." So, since those people aren't rattling their sabers about it publicly, I'm gonna hope that they don't have lobbyists trying to take away net neutrality
I was gonna
again.
say, is it because they might be too preoccupied with the trans epidemic?
Yes. Not that bigots don't realize that being able to throttle internet um, can be done this way, but I think what they're doing, they put all their ponies in the age verification stable, where now the internet is going to be put where certain things are classified as for adults, and who gets to classify something as pornographic or not is never written in stone. So I kind of we could get net neutrality, but then you'll have places. There's certain states now where you can't access Pornhub because they decided that they don't want it in their state, and now that is blocked.
That doesn't sound neutral at all.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they can. I mean, clearly they did. But I mean, like, are they legal? Like, is this one of those things where they're just like, we are legally doing this?
I mean, if you have they didn't ban circumventing it, but so if you have,
VPN.
a VPN, yeah, you can still access this, but they're just doing whatever they can to put a roadblock between people accessing explicit material. But my issue is what will be considered explicit material, because more and more, we're seeing it with libraries where books that are just about gay people existing and Black people existing are seen as explicit and being taken down. And because porn and internet, shock sites and that, there's such easy targets for age verification. In a, I just see it as it's not crazy to say that you soon will need to verify your age and give a website all of your information so you can see what's up with top surgery. Like, I don't super trust.
Oh no, because the gays are about sex. Like, remember, if gender is sex, sexuality is sex, even though like I'm asexual, that's not like what we do, but I'm sex apparently. Because I mean that's how they classify it. They're like, this is sex and this is sex. We must protect.
Well, it's the wrong sex. It's deviant sex.
I mean, yes, deviant sex, but deviant means everybody not white evangelical and in a relationship. Although
Yes.
we were talking about this earlier, they have their own brand of porn and gets extra spicy.
Yeah. So um do I think this vote is going to guarantee a free internet? No, but I think it will it's closer. Oh, sorry.
Bless you.
Freedom of choice over which company that we get to do our age verification through.
Yeah.
I mean, I I I I sound jaded, but like I'm actually very excited about that.
No,
maybe
it's I
maybe that
100%
will
get it.
put maybe that will finally make Google put the fiber, like actually make fiber available in my neighborhood. The cables are already there.
I mean,
Oh yeah. There's a whole infrastructure of fiber optic internet uh, that most Americans do not get to access just because they decided to cut up the country and say, "Oh, you get internet here, but we're going to get internet here, and we're going to make sure the prices just stay super expensive because we can, because there's nothing to challenge us." So that can be um, addressed by this. It will not address censorship.
Right. No, censorship is an entirely different issue that's going to be going through the courts and Congress and the courts and Congress and courts and Congress
Yeah.
and yes, elections.
Vote, people.
Please fucking vote for the love of
Yes.
fucking God. Also call your representatives.
call your
And
representative.
if you don't want to call your representatives, there are services where you can have somebody contact your representatives for you, taking out that entire bit of it. Legitimate services that are like, cool, add your name to this form that's already filled out.
Yeah.
We will call for you. It is our job to harass politicians, please.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I feel like I'm like, woohoo, this is great. Great opportunity. It won't solve all our problems or most of them, but like you won't have to be like, I'm gonna have to pay extra to access streaming apps on my
well,
internet.
also when it comes to public utilities, there's also there's financial assistance for public utilities. So if you are having issues paying your internet bill with it becoming a public utility, you will also gain access to resources to pay your internet bill, to keep your internet on.
Hopefully.
Listen, it actually it will make it so that even if even if it's not a government service, charities can do it much more
Yes.
easily.
Yes. And
And
there are probably going to be like affordable options, like how we
yes.
have that senior cell phone service that's like $10 a month. Are the
Be
phones good? No, but they work.
there's actually a thing because of the pandemic that actually hasn't gone away yet, where you can get credit off of certain services. So like you can get a discount. Like I get like a $30 discount on my internet bill because I am the poor's and through the pandemic. And so there's like actually stuff like that that hasn't gone away yet. Listen, one thing is when you have time and no money, you get really good at finding all the resources. It's unfortunate. I hate it here.
You're better than I. I'm poor and just going.
It's the anxiety. What happens is I get super anxious, and then in order to stop the anxiety, I need to do a thing. And so if I'm able to do a thing that feels like it has like even an ounce of meaning, it takes the anxiety from like a 15 to like a 9.
I just play The Sims.
I do hardcore high-end rating. That's my other bit.
Yeah, we got to do that with other people.
I don't have to talk to them.
Huh.
If I know the fight, I can just vibe to music and do my shit.
Well,
All right then.
No, I don't gotta talk to nobody. I may be in a party of 7 people, but am I shit talking them in my mic? Can they hear me? No, because the game has no in mic option, which is a blessing. I don't want it to have an in mic option.
like I don't want to sound like an old person yelling at a cloud, but I feel like allowing us to talk to each other in video games was a mistake.
Oh, it was an absolute mistake. I am a firm believer that they made a conscious decision not to allow in voice option in Final Fantasy 14 because they did not want to moderate that shit. They've actually included like Discord harassment. Like they've included harassment outside of the game as against TOS and will actually like ban people over it. But I think they made a specific conscious effort, conscious decision to be like, no, bitches can't be trusted. In the ranked PvP, you can't even use the chat. You just have like buttons, like macro buttons for like, hello, thank you, push the crystal, nice job, good match. And people still find a way to be toxic with that, by the way.
How?
So if you die, they'll say nice job.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's more sarcastic than toxic.
Not when they hit it 16 times.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is
That'll
actually.
be
That's really fucking annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. They also removed your ability to mark people. Because there's like one that says target to ignore, and then people would just start putting that on teammates and not enemies.
Oh, humanity. You can
and they allowed some of the marks to like they like changed what ways you can mark the other team like available. And then they also made it they're like you cannot mark people on your team. They're like that is a bannable offense, and they started aggressively banning. It was fucking hysterical. I'm like y'all need to get off the internet.
See, that's
Maybe
why I
your
just like
neighborhood
a
doesn't need
single player
internet.
experience. Like I'm City Skylines, The Sims, Skyrim, like games that I don't have to talk to other people is where I excel.
I do like playing multiplayer games where I don't have to talk to anybody.
I don't even like playing multi-game player games where I have to see other people running around now. Like I've reached that age. Like,
no, I just pretend they aren't real.
I can't even do that.
They're like, that's an NPC.
Because
the AI is just really bad.
Yeah, no.
I now like if I find people that I actually want to interact with, like we'll be in a Discord where we're all playing The Sims, but together. So we could see other people's screens, they could see mine. But like I'm playing The Sims and we could like maybe talk. But
I mean, I have
they're not messing with my game. I'm not messing with theirs. But like if I'm doing something cool, I can be like, hey, look, my sim is getting sturdy or something stupid. And that is my level of interaction I want.
I have a whole Final Fantasy 14 Discord. Although I did just clear an ultimate raid, and that was with people, but I like those people. They're all friends.
Yeah, like I have a lot of friends that play like Phasmophobia and Overwatch, and I just feel like they never sound happy when they're playing it because other people are annoying. So I feel like I don't want to invite that. I don't want that much stress.
Oh, no, you're valid. I'm mostly chill. I don't get tilted very often.
Yeah, like I enjoy games, but I'm very cognizant that I am not good at them. My hands are ravaged by overuse and age, so like I'm not mashing them buttons like I used to, and I'm not trying to stress myself. So I'm not being in any more fighting game tournaments. I'm not trying to be on anybody's team where they're gonna be like, "Hey, man, no more DPS, or stop spamming that. I'm like, my hands twitch now, so I'm not trying to spam anything.
Oh no, it's all fine for me. I just enjoy my playing. My I enjoy playing the game with my friends. And when stuff starts getting heated, I'm like, okay, it's time to queue down and maybe like play some Palia, which is Palia is an MMO
Yeah,
that is not competitive at all.
I've seen and heard good things about that one. I feel weird that people are having like a backlash to like the genre of cozy gaming, and I'm not sure why, because I can remember a time where people are like, "Oh, if you don't want competitive gaming, you're not a real gamer, so don't play our games." And then everybody was like, "You know what? You're right." And then they started making all these cozier games to just chill out and relax to. And now those same people are now pissed that people are playing games that are chill and relaxing. Like,
Because people are having fun playing their games and they're not having fun playing their games.
Right.
That's it.
yeah, I guess that's what it boils down to. But it's like, I
No,
can't put
I
myself in the mind. Like, where does
I
your
mean,
head have to be at to be that much of a dick?
People will actively just play games they don't want to play because it's the game you're supposed to be playing.
I feel like games are too expensive for that now.
Games
Right.
have always been too expensive for that, and it doesn't make any sense. There's like a bazillion games. Just play what you want to play.
Yeah, well, I also see like
I don't
the
think.
Sims community where people are like, "Oh, I don't know, no, I'm playing this game. Why?" And I'm like, I think you should examine that, because there'll
If
be
you don't
people
know,
that have all the packs. I'm like, why are you investing this much money into something that makes you miserable?
because they've invested so much money into it and they can't just give it up because it's a waste of their money, and that means they made a bad decision, which that's not how that works. It just means you enjoyed a thing for a long time and then you're not enjoying it anymore, and that's okay. Sometimes we grow out of the things that we enjoyed and we just need to find things that we enjoy. And sometimes when we find new things we enjoy, it makes us think back of the things we used to enjoy and be like, oh, I actually want to play that again. And we go back and, oh, this is nice.
That's how I feel about fucking. I used to do it all the time. Now I'm just like, no.
Honestly, that's super valid. Every time I think about it, because like I'm like on the demisexual scales, I'm like I can't, like I think about dating and I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to date, and I'm like, oh, people.
Yeah, I don't know what I could classify myself as, because I used to always think I was like aromantic but not asexual, but now I'm like, maybe.
There is a brand of asexual where you're just tired.
I think that's me.
That it's actually I'm gonna try to find it, because one of my friends felt very attacked when they found it. It's just a brand of asexual where you are just too exhausted. Like as a person, you are just too tired. Maybe in like 10 years, but like not right now.
Well, for me, I feel it's like I'm not getting anything out of it, and the pros do not outweigh the cons. So the procurement of it is no longer enjoyable, and then there's no guarantee that I'm actually going to orgasm, so it feels like a waste of time. And then usually, you know, sorry, a lot of the cis hetero males, they don't make it a very pleasant experience, so we can't even like chill before or after. So I'm like, why? I'm doing this. I want to do
Yeah,
this.
I didn't realize that finding somebody where you can just chill before and after is actually a rarity. And then when I discovered that, I was just like, any interest I had drastically dropped.
Yeah, yeah. And like, I don't know. Once you have video games and cats, I'm like, I'm
It's
kind
like,
of good.
yeah, it's just like, oh, all my emotional needs are met right now. Do I actually need? No, I'm okay.
And like, not for nothing, cats in video games, a lot less labor.
So much less labor.
The distance we've traveled from net neutrality is considerable.
Yeah.
This is all. I mean, this is the entire reason why we had to have an extra, like a little extra section, because when Najela and I are involved, there are no rails.
Yeah.
like
and I'm very unmedicated, so
I understand. I was letting you guys go because the humor is in the distance in which you both will travel from the original topic. Like, you will just get off on an exit and then drive 30 miles east before we all realize that we've been driving 30 miles in another
There's
direction.
donuts there, Aaron.
I don't think it's the wrong direction, because this is also a valid direction, but it's a different direction than we intended, and we're very
There
far
are
in that
apple
direction.
fritters there, Aaron.
How we got here wasn't surprising, because first talking about net neutrality, but they were like,
Right.
hey, was that going to solve the problem of the internet? And that is talking about censorship, and net neutrality probably won't, like, it's not going to 100% fix it, obviously. So then we talked about what they're censoring, which makes us talk about what is considered, deviant. And then we
Right.
started talking about how we're all, deviant. And then, we started about fucking.
Right.
So,
Oh, I understand. I'm not saying, like I said, I understand how we got there. I'm just saying that we are here. Humans are gross. So coming to that conclusion, however you get there, is true. That's why we're not in the wrong place. We're just in a different place. And that's beautiful. But this was about net neutrality. So we're going to call it here. At
yeah,
this point,
I think we talked about it.
we're gonna call it.
It's important.
We're gonna call it right here at this point. Button press.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up.